You need this planning session more than you even know, sister. Phyllis, I have got some good stuff planned for you today. Like, this is the planning session of planning sessions because I'm going to really speak to you today about how to make those special moments count for you. And that is part of self-care. So as we're going through the year and we're planning and planning and planning, and I know you need this because, boss sister, you're a leader. You've got a lot on your plate. I know that you've got your head down, the blinders on. And if you're not careful, you're going to miss out on some special moments this year. And I just cannot let that happen. No, I cannot. So welcome to episode number 47 of the Gina Duke Show Podcast. Okay, so today I'm going to start out with a little refresh. There's a couple of episodes that I talked about last year and helping us to plan well. And I want to cover those. I want to just briefly recap them because it's a new year. And you may have forgotten, and some of you are new. So here's the deal. There is a mini planning tip that I have for you that I call the by day 2 rule of a new month. And what that means is that every new month, by the second day of that month, I have made all of my purchases for any special event of that month. So if there's a birthday or if there's a holiday, a 3-day weekend, whatever is coming up in that month, I like to go ahead and get everything purchased and ready, in motion by the second day of the month. So it's the by day 2 rule of a new month. So for instance, this month, it's my son-in-law's birthday. That means I've already ordered his birthday present. I already have his birthday card. And I've also made sure that my daughter has bought the ingredients for his favorite birthday cake, which is the Holy Cow cake. That's a cake his grandmother always made for him. She's no longer with us, sadly. But so it's so important that I think that she makes that cake. So I even called and checked today to make sure she had already bought that. And sure enough, she has the ingredients. So she's not going to be waiting till the day before realizing she still don't have the ingredients for that cake. She's going to have it. So she lives by her mama's LaFoy rules as well. I mean, she's probably my biggest fan of LaFoy. That lifestyle of faith and order and influence that we all need and we all pursue. So that's my by day 2 rule of a new month is I make sure that I have purchased those things. And here's the benefit. This is why I do it. And I've done it now for a solid year. It has helped me to eliminate procrastination because by day 2, for all those special events, I have made the purchase. I've put things in motion and I'm not going to be last minute. And I hate being last minute. I know you hate being last minute where we're running around like chickens without our heads. No more of that. We're not living that way. And so we don't live that way because we go by the by day 2 rule. Now, you may be wondering if this is a new concept for you. You may be going, how in the world do you prepare to have everything done by day 2? Well, in episode 11, now, if you do want to go back and listen to the by day 2 rule, that was actually episode number 4. Then this other one will help you prepare for the by day 2 rule in episode 11. And what I talk about then is mid-month. And here we are. We are mid-month. We're mid-January. That means that what we do now is I like to take a little peek, just a little peek into the next month, which is February, and see what is on the horizon. What do I need to be thinking about and preparing for? And this always helps me to be ready to do all the things that I want to do by day 2 of a new month. And so there's a holiday out there, y'all. There's a holiday out there that it's going to affect all of us. So as we look just take a little peek into February, we're going to see that there is a Valentine's Day. Now, don't check that on me. Regardless of your relationship status, I want you to stay with me to the end because I am going to be ministering to you through the end. Okay. But for instance, one of the things that I do want to talk about. So as I'm preparing for Valentine's Day, and this is so important. Now, you may take away my romantic card. You may go, she ain't got it no more after you hear what I do. But it pays off because here's what you've got to think about. When you think about Valentine's Day, regardless of your relationship status, think about how you want that day to feel. Think about what you want to be doing that day, how you want to enjoy that day. And so one thing for me is that, and here's where you're probably going to think, okay, she's not very romantic, but like, just so you know, February, Valentine's Day, the 14th, falls on a Monday in 2022, falls on a Monday, which is like the most unromantic day ever to have Valentine's Day. But there it is. So you'll be deciding right now when you're going to celebrate it. Is it going to be the weekend before, the weekend after, or maybe you're hardcore? No, it's always the day of. Think about how you want, what day it's going to be. And for me, it's going to be the weekend before because my husband's busiest 2 days of his work week, where he has the most meetings and he's preparing for those meetings, is Monday and Tuesday. So I will not be doing it the day of, but I've got the weekend before to do my Valentine's stuff. Now, because it's on a Monday, I'm going to tell you that week, if I'm at a Kroger and I see some flowers, some beautiful roses that I love, I'm probably going to just buy them for myself and enjoy them the whole time. You see, I don't get caught up on if he can remember it's Valentine's Day. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But for me, I'm going to, I don't like chocolate covered strawberries, but I do love chocolate covered cherries. And like if I'm at the CVS that week and they have the big box that they usually have of my favorite kind, I'm probably going to grab those and have them. And I'm going to go ahead and be thinking about, where do I want to eat? I love to go eat at a nice restaurant. I want us to get dressed up and I want us to go out to eat. That's how I want to celebrate Valentine's, is with some beautiful flowers, some really good candy that I love, and I want to go out to eat. I don't necessarily need a gift, but if I did, I would go ahead and pick that out and make sure that's ordered. I would just do it all by day 2, because again, I don't really care if he does it or not. And my husband, I will tell you, can be very romantic, but his MO is very random. So if there are times he does surprise me with something very romantic, and that's great, but it's random. So I'm not trying to hold him to being romantic on these specific dates. Now, I will tell you, like for my birthday, I do typically tell him in advance, this is where I want to go. This is the gift that I want if we need, like I do let him know that in advance. And then I make sure it happens. I don't know if it's the only child in me, but it's like, if this day is about me, it's going to be an awesome day. Like I'm going to set my special day up for success. Now listen, ladies, out of the 365 days of the year that you are continually leading people, serving people, doing all the things that we do, there's only a handful of days that are specifically days for you to feel special. I want you to claim those days, okay? Those days can be Valentine's Day, it can be your birthday, it can be your anniversary, and it can be Mother's Day if you're a mom. And those are days that you can claim, and you should claim them as very special days. See, I see this as a form of self-care. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? So here's the deal. And this is why I do this. I repeat, I am not one of those women who play this gotcha game. Like I'm not going to remain silent, just what I want to say. I'm not going to remain silent. I'm not going to be on the down low, wondering if he is going to remember. Here's the deal. Like my husband, we've been married 23 years. He knows that my birthday is in April, but it's questionable if he could tell you right now which day it is. And it has nothing to do with how much he loves me. Nothing. And so I'm not going to remain silent, get down low, figure out, like just hide and watch and see if he's going to remember and just do it all up right for me. And I'm going to have a wonderful day. No. If it's going to be one of my special days, Gina Duke's going to make sure it's a day she's going to love. I'm not taking any chances. And this is why, because years ago, this is the perfect example. Like, I'm not a gotcha. Like, you didn't remember, and now I'm mad on the day that is special for me. And then any reaction he has to me being mad is under duress. That is not romantic at all. And so I just never set it up that way. I set it up for success. Remember, I'm looking at the end game. I'm thinking about, how do I want to feel that day? What are the things I want to make sure I do that day to really enjoy one of my few special days that are dedicated specifically to me? And I encourage you to do the same thing. And I'll give you an example. Years ago, now I do consulting work now, and there's times where I work in corporate America, and then there's been times I've done consulting work. And so years ago, when I was doing consulting work, there was a company that I did a lot of business. I spent a lot of time with them. And they had called me in, and they had this huge gap, and they called me in to help them figure out how to address this gaping hole in their organization. And I had spent time, researching, planning, benchmarking, figuring it out. And so the day had come when it was time for me to make this very comprehensive presentation to them. And I knew these people were drowning. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in on a lunch. I'm going to make my presentation during lunch, and I'm going to take them lunch. Because they were really just drowning, and they had this gaping hole, and I was supposed to bring in this solution. So I set this lunch up, I go get the lunch, and just as I'm setting up, ready to make this comprehensive presentation to them, the main guy, he was the main decision maker, comes rushing in to this conference room, and he looked like he was terrified. He had this look on his face, like he was terrified, and he was telling me and apologizing. He's like, I am sorry, I am not going to get to stay for your presentation. I am terribly sorry, but it is my wife's birthday. I forgot it was her birthday. She has called me, and now I've got to run get her and take her to lunch. And I was like, well, I was very gracious, but in my mind, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, she remained silent. She laid low and she did this gotcha thing. So after I'm sure, waited almost all morning to see if he was going to remember and call her up to say happy birthday. And when he did not, right before lunch, she called him up, and I'm sure let him have it. And now he's rushing home like he's under duress. Like, okay, first of all, I just want to say, if it's my birthday, I'm not settling for lunch. It's going to be a nice dinner somewhere where, reservations were involved, more than likely. But she sold herself short. She's got him under duress. Like, do you think that was a fun lunch? No, I'm sure it was not. And I'm thinking, I am not going to live that way. I mean, where is the peace in that? So this is why I'm really big on, and again, maybe it's because I am an only child, of thinking, okay, this is one of my special days. It's designated for me. And I want you to remember that. These are special days designated for you. And I want you to plan well. I want you to really have a good sense of how you want that day to feel. And what are the things that you want to experience that day, and work toward that with planning. And so Anyway, so that's the thing. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Like, I'm probably going to be deciding in the next few days where I want to eat dinner, what restaurant do I want to make reservations at, and I'm going to go ahead and make those reservations. I'm probably not even going to wait to day 2 of February, because it could be that all the reservations are taken by then. And so again, this is a form of self-care. I hope you're picking up when I'm laying down, Phyllis. But this is the deal. Okay, so now I want to talk to you. Let's say that you're not currently in a relationship. So what are you supposed to do with Valentine's Day? And I'm going to tell you, if I was single and it was a Valentine's Day, and there have been times in my life where I was single and it was Valentine's Day, I'm probably going to think about, again, the end game of how do I want to feel on that day? And what are things I want to experience on that day? And so it could be, I might take that day off and I might set up and get a facial. I might get a massage. I might do some self pampering. I would also think about, they have Valentine get-togethers now where you get all your single friends together, and maybe you go to a great restaurant, or maybe you get together and watch romantic comedies and eat all the good food and just laugh and laugh and laugh. Or maybe you think about, who are the people in your life that love you well? Is it your parents? That you spend time with them and you feel well loved on that day. Maybe it's a friend that you don't normally see. Maybe you take a little trip and hang out with them. Think about, who are the people in your life where you feel really well loved by, and make those kinds of plans. Also, if this is a day that really has a tendency to depress you, and I'm not talking about clinical depression, I'm just talking about a day that makes you feel down and less than and whatnot, how can you bless other people on that day? What can you do to take the focus? Because they say this helps if you're feeling down and depressed, is to take the focus off yourself, because we can get consumed by our own thoughts and having a pity party. Is there some people that you could bless that day? There were years when I taught a Sunday school class of single women. And I often, for Valentine's Day, would send them a beautiful card, or there were times we do a get together. There were times I sent them flowers. This particular year, there's been a lot of death and sickness. It's very possible that someone that this will be their first Valentine's Day without their husband. Or it's someone who's experienced a serious breakup this year. And you could think about how you could bless them and make that a very, very special day. So I want you to think about that. I want you to take a peek over the horizon, see what's there. We know Valentine's Day is one of those things, and start planning with the end game of building a day, a special day for yourself. And think about how, what are the feelings you want to feel, and what are the things you want to experience, and plan accordingly. Now, with all this, I want to say to you, for those of you that this is really a difficult time, it's a difficult holiday to even think about how to enjoy it. I want you to know, and I know that you've all been through different things too, but, I have too. I've been in every situation that you could possibly be in. I was in a 10-year marriage that was loveless, a loveless 10-year marriage. And even before that marriage, when I was in college, I had met this boy. We had already decided that when we graduated college, we were going to get married. And then when that relationship ended, I was devastated. And then after my marriage ended, I was in another serious relationship that I really felt was the Lord. And when that fell apart, I was doubly devastated. I was for the first time in my life ever disappointed in my Heavenly Father. I felt great disappointment on top of heartbreak. And then there were years where I was alone and I didn't know what God's plans were for me, or who was out there for me. And so wherever you are at this moment, I want you to know that I've been there and I understand it. I want to share with you a few words that's in the middle of a scripture. It's 1 John 3:20. And there's a few words and it says this. It says, God is bigger than your heart. Some translation says that God is bigger than your heart, that God is greater than your heart, that God is greater than your emotions. God is greater than your feelings. And I want you to think about that, because here's the deal. No matter where any of us are right now in our relationship status, without a moment's notice, at any given time, any of us could lose the love of a man. I've experienced it. And I'm sure you have too along your way in life. You know, it's nothing for a man just to decide he doesn't love you anymore. I've had that happen. It's nothing for a man to decide he'd rather be with someone else. I've had that happen before. If life has taught me anything, it's that you can lose the love of a man without a moment's notice. But here's what is true. Jesus is the lover of your soul. There's never going to come a day when he doesn't love you anymore. There is never going to come a day when you're not good enough for him anymore. There's never going to come a day when he says, I'm sorry, but I love someone else. No, he will always be the lover of your soul. So I want to encourage you as we head into the month of February and Valentine's Day is coming. I want you to plan accordingly to make that day as special for you as you possibly can. Make it feel safe. As long as it's everything that as far as it is up to you, make that day successful where you and your loved ones, your friends can really enjoy that day. Whatever it is that makes you feel really well loved, do that. And take the time to think about how much God loves you. Because humans are so imperfect that not even a man who loves me well, like my husband does, he can't meet all my needs. No man can meet all my needs, but God can. He is bigger than my heart. He is greater than my emotions. He is bigger than my feelings. And he is all that for you as well. So as you go into this next month, plan accordingly. Plan with the end goal in mind, that you enjoy the day the way that you want to enjoy it, knowing in full confidence that Jesus is the lover of your soul.